Hello, welcome to the film room. This video is not going to be one where in my head and one where I'm not doing mechanical stuff. This is going to be a video on how to get into collecting your own films or playing your own films. If we spin around here, we can get to this section. If my chair lets me move. This is unedited, so it's going to be pretty hectic. If you want to go into film photography, not just film reels and playing them, I'm going to be creating a video on how to get into film photography and how to develop your own film. Very detailed one I'm going to be doing. So this is not the video for film photography, but this is for Super 8 and 16mm, how to get into those. So hold your horses. Not hold on your horses. If you wanted to do that, now I'm having struggles getting okay, there you go. There. Did I break it? Not yet. Okay, so to get into film, you first of all got to look on eBay. These are my first 3 ever Super 8 films I got. I didn't have a projector, I didn't have anything. I just thought, why not buy these? Because it would be fun. I got Monsters from Under the Sea, which is a short snippet of 200 foot reel of 20,000 Lakers under the sea. And it's basically about this squid thingy. Watch it yourself. It's really good. It's from 1960s, if I'm correct. Perfect. I've got a Mary Poppins. It's also 200 foot. So 200 foot, if you don't know, that basically is about 8 minutes of run time of a film or of the tape, and An Evening with Lady and the Tramp, and that one is obviously Lady and the Tramp. Now my point here is I got all of those for about £20-30, and that is 3 not full films but 3 shorts from the films. And you can always just start collecting the films without the projector, and then one day get the projector and be like, oh my gosh, now I can watch these films. One thing I forgot to mention, this is after I'm editing it, is how to tell if it is sound or silent. Extremely important. I'm going to be showing you a sound version film, and there is only magnetic sound on Super 8. In just regular 8, if it has sound, it will look exactly like it does on Super 8. As you can see, the sound has an orange strip at the top and the bottom, signifying that it has sound. It is just that simple. Literally just that simple. If it does not have sound, it will just be a strip with no orange on top or bottom. It will just be blank. What people have done is they've bought sound films, recorded over, gotten all the emulsion off, which is basically the picture, gotten all the pictures off by scraping it off with like some sandpaper, recorded their own audio over it, and there you go. You got a sound film. Costs a lot more effort, there is no point. And the same goes for 8mm. It will look exactly like that if it's sound or no sound. Make sense? Good. Let's get back to the real video. Now to spin all the way back to round, we have got the projectors. I'll be going back to 16mm in just a second. That's what that wooden thing was underneath. What I reckon you should get, if you're going to get a projector, first of all, is some film glue. My recommended one is go onto eBay, and there's this place called ES Photographics. That's ES Photographics, E for elephant, S for skeleton, don't know how to say that. And they sell these Kodak official film cements. Now it's called film cement, not film glue. If you do film glue, it's going to come up with not actual film, it's going to come up probably with glue that they say is for the film, which is not. Why you need this is because your film will break, it will snap, and that is guaranteed. This is easy to fix it, or you can have a tape splicer. Now a splicer is something that you fix your film with. It's got a viewer on it, that we fix ourselves. That's another thing. You'll be fixing lots of this old tech, so you don't have to know a lot in mechanics, was a bit of projector mechanics. You just got to think outside the box when fixing things. For instance, if a bulb broke in this, you can put a really high voltage or just a high bright LED in it and it'll still work. So yeah. This tape splicer has tape, obviously. You pull the tape over the film, hit these two buttons, and you're set. Rather than having to use an ordinary splicer and film cement, you'll have to open these, put your film there, pull that up, put your film in there, snap it, or break it in half, put your film cement on, close that, close this one, wait a minute, open it back up, see if it works, see if it's flimsy, see if it snaps back off. If it does, you've got to close it again, redo all of that, then snap, blah, 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 blah. If it's flimsy again, yeah, you get the point. It's very tiresome doing it that way, and sadly, that's the way you're going to be doing it if you have 16mm or you're going to collect 16mm. Now we've gone through all the things you might need with your projector. Projectors usually come with take-up reels, which are the things that when it's going through and it's at the back of the projector, for instance, if it was in the back, it would wind on without you having to touch it, because he's got these little a bongy things in that just takes it through. We're going to be going through a cheaper version of a 8mm projector and an expensive version of a Super 8 projector. Now, to get the difference between 8mm and Super 8, the only thing you need to know is that 8mm and Super 8 is a totally different format. 8mm has a smaller frame with slightly less resolution, slightly less, and it usually does not have sound when you have films with it. For instance, I have a Laurel and Hardy 8mm film, doesn't have sound, uncommon to have sound. I have a Laurel and Hardy on my Bolex Super 8mm, and it does have sound. It's just more likely to have sound if it's Super 8, because those were more manufactured, and 8mm was more of a home format. This is sort of in the 60s, not in the, late 60s. Super 8 was invented in 1968 by Kodak. You would have projectors like this to show short films. I got Star Wars as well, which is a 400-foot reel, 200-foot reel, which is about 8 minutes long of the film, and it shortens it down. To get on the budget version, this is a cheap one. You've got to also look on eBay listings to check if they are broken or not. If it says spares and repairs, do not bother, because that just means broken. Here is the simple projector. Now what it has is, it has the, actually I don't know where the, I don't know where you put, so, oh, silly me. You put your first reel, your take-up reel up there, take-up reel here, wind through. I don't need to explain this projector because you will probably get a different projector, but this is what a basic projector will look like. You put your film in, the light shines. This is for 8mm. The light shines, it shows the image, and it comes back onto this take-up reel. Now, no sound, because, as I said, it's uncommon to have 8mm sound. It's not uncommon, it's just not common. So that's uncommon. Don't know what I'm talking about. You've got to really watch out for this, because they may look like in great condition like this one is, but sometimes they don't work. I've tried it. It powers on. So if someone's selling it to you in Facebook Marketplace or eBay, and they say it turns on and the light bulb works, don't just do that. Chase up on it, because even if the light bulb works, the mechanisms might not inside the system. This may spin at the bottom, but why isn't it spinning at the top? You've got to really think about what makes a projector a projector. Took a couple of times to get out of my mouth. I have a 20s projector that plays, I think it's 8mm film. It looks really old, looks really broken, but works perfectly. If you're looking just for an aesthetic use of a projector, like I've got a lamp projector, you don't need to watch this video. If you're just looking for an aesthetic use, you just buy a projector and that. But yeah, that's it. That 8mm projectors rarely have sound. If you find one with sound for a cheap price, get it straight away. Absolutely perfect. Now, there's something, bulbs. Bulbs are an important asset for the projector, and I want to mention them really quickly because when I was making or collecting my Super 8s and 8mm and projectors, no YouTube video explained this. You need to get specific bulbs, not always specific, but specific bulbs for your projector. So you could nowadays you can just search on the internet for the projector and what bulb it is. If you don't know what volts means, if you don't know what any of that means, if you just ignore that. At least if it's like 100, I think it's 100 volts. 100 is it? I think it's 100 volts on a Super 8 or 8mm. Perfect. On a 16mm, if it's 1,000 volts, fantastico. I think I'm saying volts correct. I think volts is correct. Yeah. So this is 24 volts. Sorry for that pause, but this is 24 volts, meaning it will probably have a very not too bright, but bright enough to sort of shine on a wall from that far away from the projector. Bulbs are important, obviously, because otherwise you won't be able to actually show the picture. Now this is my Bolex SM80. This was made in the 80s as a home. This one's a bit heavier. What it does is it takes in the film this way and it leaves the film in the other way. Unlike that projector, it's different for all projectors, but this one takes it in one side, puts it in the other. This is an auto-feeding projector, which I will now explain what that means. Always hold the button down. Always hold the button down. On an auto-feeding projector, if you got one, it will always have a button to feed the film in. So once you place the film inside, keep hold of the button until it's coming out the other end. Otherwise, it will scrunch up your film into a little ball and chuck it in a pitch full of shit or something. It's absolutely nasty what it does to that film if you do not click the correct button. Lenses are also very important. Each lens is different. The smaller the millimeter, the wider it is. If it's 80mm lens, that's going to be able to show, that will be more for like cinemas. If you have a 60mm projector or Super 8 projector at the back of the cinema, 80mm would be perfect because it will shine probably exactly on your screen. If you want a bigger picture from a smaller range of, let's say your projector's here, your screen's somewhat here, probably a little bit further back, you want one around 12mm or 12 to 25mm, because that is just about perfect. That's crazy. It's just about perfect. And this is heavy, so I have to keep holding it. This is a sound projector that comes with the feature to record your own audio. Now that won't really work anymore because film doesn't allow you to record unless it's magnetic strip, which it will let you record on top of it. But be careful because most projectors with a recording sound feature have really bad microphones coming with them. I had a very horrible microphone come with mine and it just didn't work, and then when I plugged a different one in, it sounded brilliant. So I don't think that's what we're really here for. We're here to hear about how to get into collecting. This is sound, and there is another option which is record. We don't need to talk about record. There is also a button, a little turny knob, usually right next to the lens, which lets you adjust frame. So if there's a little bit of the next frame at the top, twist it and make it perfect so it's just about on point. most projectors don't have timers. Mine has a little counter which counts how many hours you have had on your projector that you've watched. That may be useful because you can see when you need to next change your light bulb. But I usually, every time I buy a new projector, I buy three light bulbs of the same, so I don't have to go searching once they are broken. This costs £230, and to explain why it costs that, so you either decide to or decide not to buy something like this, it comes with a very wide and tight lens, as I say, 12 to 25 millimeter. Sorry, sorry, I had a little pause there. The focus is very reliable, and it is all made out of metal, meaning that if I even drop it, which I'm not going to do, it would somewhat last. Now, it has a handle, it has the auto feeding feature, which I was talking about. It has the volume, it has sound, and the overall build quality is basically unbreakable, and it's very adjustable. If someone's broken at the back, if something's broken, you can easily fix it. Now I think that's a sound thing there. Also, this can plug into an external sound bar. For instance, that speaker right there, plug this bad boy into it, it'll play amazing. I don't think that was anything important. No, nothing important. Sorry for my sniffing, I've got a little bit of cold today. Now, one last thing to talk about is the camera. Now, I don't know why I'm talking about this now, but if you want to shoot Super 8, you need a camera. My recommendation is the Instamatic Mark II, not Mark II, M2. That could stand for anything, maybe Mark II, not too sure. My favourite thing about this one is that it comes with a guide. Now here it says what f-stop to put it at for what specific daylight or how dark it is. It's very easily loadable. It works perfectly. To make cameras more expensive and less expensive, it will have a frame rate of 16 frames, which would be a silent, to 24 frames, which would be sound. Now, what makes this slightly more expensive is that it does exactly 16 frames. Some lay off or slack off that frameage a little bit, going from maybe 17 frames to sometimes 15 frames, but this one does exactly 16. But with a silent film, that doesn't matter much. You can hook on a tripod, which I'm also using. I forgot that wasn't connected. You can hook on a tripod, change the f-stop, look at the viewfinder, click buttons, just buttony clickly buttons, and it's fully working. Now, the first one I bought actually was broken, but that was because I weren't looking at the listings properly, which is a little bit stupid of me, but blame myself, can't I? Pop that back on like that. There you go. I don't think that's on properly. Bear with me. There we go. Now, last to talk about 16mm, I will only scratch upon this topic. We'll do a full one in the next video. Our Super 8, 16mm is more of a format that you would be showing if, let's say, you're in a little cinema. If you're in a little home cinema and you want to create your own cinema experience, 16mm is perfect. I've got the producers, Laurel and Hardy, Way Out West, and Prairie Chickens, some the Big Thumb, which is on here, and the Little Rascals. Now, is it worth the switch between Super 8 to 16mm if you're only going to watch smaller films? No, it's not. You're not going to find feature films on Super 8, which is a main reason to switch. These have a better picture, and you will also always find feature films like this. We looked at the Time Bandits on eBay the other day, and well, it was on eBay for about £100. So you can buy feature films on 16mm. They do have a bit of colour loss to them. What I didn't explain, my bad, is Super 8s and normal still 8mm will always have, if they're colour, a slight reddish look. That is because of the dye they would have used. If it's more of an expensive film and more luxurious, for instance, the producer's film I've got, it hasn't got much colour loss because it was made with, my best way to explain it to new people is a more expensive type of film that they copied it onto. We'll get into this next episode. I hope you enjoyed my little presentation or something like that. Get 16mm. Don't. See, I've already messed that up. Get Super 8. Get 8mm. It is a great investment. I've got over 36 Super 8 films now, and I haven't regretted a single one. I've got a few 16mm that cost big bucks or pounds. I do not regret it. So yeah, just get it. Why not? It's a purchase that you won't regret, because this is how I see it, which is even more sad. When you buy something like this, you can always sell it for what you bought it for, unless you got scammed, and even more sometimes. I got a really good deal on this Bolex, but I have broken the switch at the back, and just a second ago, as you saw, I knocked it up. I had cracked the shell for the light. So, my bad. I've also